Utahime has been a character who a lot of the fandom anticipated learning more about, and with the most recent chapter it bodes well for her to have a more significant role with Jujutsu Kaisen getting to the climax of the story. But this video will cover what we know about Utahime and her potential usage in the future of JJK. First, Utahime is a semi-grade 1. It's one of the teachers in Jujutsu High. She's the main teacher for the Kyoto students, and according to the fanbook, her students adore her. Her surname contains the kanji Hermitage, and her first name contains the kanji Song Poetry and Princess or Young Lady of Noble Birth. Now this ties in nicely to her attire, which is called a miko, and these are normally given to shrine maidens, and are normally seen as shamans. More than that, they perform a sacred Kagara dance, which nicely ties into her curse technique that plays on the theme of music and is directly shown with her clothing and the name kanji. The ritual also uses props such as bells, which I believe are on her wrist. During her dance, which shows an example of the inspiration for the ritual bells, are also meant to symbolize warding off evil beings and protection of evil, which fits nicely with the clash of Gojo vs Sukuna. But before I touch on her curse technique, the ritual she performed for Gojo could tie into the Kagara dance. The dance translates to God's entertainment. It's meant to indicate the presence of gods. Now this could connect nicely to the Gojo vs Sukuna clash, with both individuals being deemed the honored ones, quoting the Buddha, and adding a nice touch to her technique. Curse technique is a support type called the Surusuru Kinku, and it temporarily buffs her allies and herself output, and in TCB they stated it buffs their curse energy reserves as well. They have to remain in the range, and she's the current best support type curse technique we've seen in the series. More than that, she's given an expansion on Jujutsu Mastery with the regular path of subtraction leading to faster activation. Utahime performs the entire ritual, including incarnations, hand sign, dances and more, and by doing so she achieves a boost of 120% of the normal effect. This means by her using her curse technique regularly without the ritual, it will be a standard of 100%, but by doing this she can increase the effect of her support. This curse technique explains why in Shibuya they wanted to make time for Utahime to appear so she could buff up her allies significantly, however would need more time to begin the ritual. It also explains why in Hidden Inventory she's paired up with Mei, who at that point had not had the level of mastery that she does now of her curse technique, so Utahime's buff would be a significant help. We have no current idea of her actual combat abilities, but with her being a semi-grade 1, I would be surprised if she didn't throw hands. She also was engaged with Haruta in a clash, and Haruta realized she was quicker than expected, which could play into her curse technique, giving her a buff to herself. One thing that interests me and could play into the future is that her name contains royal implications, and it nicely ties into the ritual used. The potential lore Utahime could have could be interesting, and the idea of a royal family of people, or people of royalty, is currently not something very known in the Jujutsu world. More than that, a more focus on a support character can introduce the future pathway of other minor characters having roles where they use their support and adds an interesting dynamic between characters. With the lack of information, a lot of what's to come for her next seems to be limited. However, Gege has opened a pathway for her role to be more important than has currently been shown before the chapter. Whether that is an explanation of her scar, because in Hidden Inventory we can see that she did not have the scar during that period, why she chose to help Gojo now, and with the risk of Sukuna's presence. All of these questions could be answered in small mini flashbacks which could take like 1 to 3 pages and could give a lot more significance to her role in the story, while also boding well for other minor characters to play a significant role. In conclusion, Gege, if you are reading or watching this video, let Utahime cook, and I'm excited to see what goes in the future for her character arc.